We are in the city of love.
Home to the famous Arc de Triomphe.
And it has a pretty well-known tower. Not sure if you've heard of it.
And of course we've got to check out Paris Disneyland, but that probably deserves its own video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on that one. Welcome to Paris. We're spending the next week in this famous city exploring everything it has to offer, and what better way to start off our time here in Paris than at its arguably most famous site. We've climbed a lot of buildings and churches and things like that on this trip. This is about to be the tallest, and you can tell Rosh is thrilled about it.
I'm as ready as I like to be, which is not ready. Stacey's mum bought us this to go up to the summit with her. I can't disappoint her. She said that, like, those are her words. I can't disappoint her. Oh my god. I'm not going up any higher than this.
Guys, we've made it up to the second floor, so you take one lift up to the second floor, and already I think this is the highest we've been on this trip, and we're about to get even higher. Ready?
Going up. We're about to enter the stratosphere.
The Twilight Zone. Oh no, wrong day. Clouds. I hate it. You're not even looking. I'm not ever gonna look. We've come up the lift. I'm now walking up the stairs to the actual summit. So when you come out of the lift, it's all glass and enclosed. I hate it. But once you walk up the stairs, it's like a cage. So it's a bit more open, a bit scarier. I don't think Rosh has managed to get herself up here yet, but I'm gonna take a squeeze.
The air is thin up here. Oh my god. I don't think I've ever been up this high in my entire life.
You've been skydiving.
It's different when you skydive. Because skydiving you don't really start on the ground.
We've spotted our first big site, the Arc de Triomphe.
And if you would like to treat yourself for surviving that crazy elevator ride up, I'm gonna die. You can get a glass of champagne for €22.
But it's at the top of the Eiffel Tower, so there are three different floors coming up the Eiffel Tower. There's level 1, level 2 and the summit. So you can pay just to go to level 2, which has amazing views on its own, or you pay extra obviously to come up to the summit where there's a nice champagne bar. You can say you've been to the very top of the Eiffel Tower, but level 2 is also very nice. So the Eiffel Tower itself, up to the very tip, is 330 meters tall. Up to the summit, where is like the highest point where you can come up as a person, as a visitor, is 276 meters, which is
too tall. Alright, we have admired the views, but now I think we are deserving, me especially, of a little treat after surviving that scary, scary climb.
We've now come down to the first floor to grab something to eat, because there are only so few times you're able to say you had a bite to eat in the Eiffel Tower, so definitely on our list today. And if you're interested, there are various different options. As we said, on the summit there is a little champagne bar, mostly just drinks. On the second floor I believe there is like a fancy sit-down restaurant, and here on the first floor there are a few different options, like a restaurant and then kind of more bar type food, some pizza, some crepes, macaroons, so a whole bunch of different things.
Now obviously the Eiffel Tower is a square kind of shaped on the bottom, so that means that there are 4 sides that you can view it, and one of the sides has this big kind of grass, well, was grass, it's kind of dirt at the moment, but grass area where you can have plenty of space to pose for all of your pictures and videos. It's really difficult though, because the tower is so tall, you gotta go really, really far back to get the whole thing in. Did we nail it? Let us know down below in the comments.
Looks pretty good now, but it looks even better at night. We have come here this morning to one of the most popular tourist attractions probably in the world, but definitely here in Paris, the Louvre. Louvre is the biggest museum in the entire world. It is about 16 kilometers if you walk the entire thing, which is just ridiculous. But we have come to do a guided tour of all the top pieces of art,
like this big sphinx
within the Louvre, because obviously we're not here to walk 16 kilometers to see the art. The most iconic piece obviously being the Mona Lisa, but we're very excited to see some of the other popular pieces of art and learn a bit about them. When you think of the exterior of the Louvre, most people would think of this great big pyramid behind me. It features in everyone's photos. It's actually one of 5 pyramids that feature at the Louvre. There is also one that is very cool, which is an inverted pyramid, which is kind of inside, but this is obviously the most popular one.
We are doing a guided tour of the Louvre, seeing all of its most famous pieces organised by Stacey's mum. If you'd like to book the same tour that we're doing, we will put a link in the description below. Fun fact about this statue is that it is actually what inspired the swoosh in the Nike tick, "Just Do It." I didn't expect that. The artist said just do it and they did it.
And of course, there's one reason people come to the Louvre. I'm kidding. But the main reason, the Mona Lisa. And it's as crowded as ever, but she's actually bigger than I thought because everyone has talked her down so much about how small she is that she actually looks big to me, which is a bonus. Mona Lisa on one side, the largest painting in the Louvre on the other.
Next up is one of the Louvre's most famous pieces, the Statue of Venus. We actually have thought about the Statue of Venus before on this trip, on a boat tour in Milos, where we saw a rock that resembled the Statue of Venus. If you haven't seen that, we'll put it up here. Now, of course, this place is huge, and if you did want to see every single piece, it would literally take months. So I think that a guided tour is definitely the way to go, especially if you've only got a few days here in Paris.
Okay, we've finished up inside the Louvre and now back outside in front of the pyramid. That was well worth it. We definitely recommend a guided tour. We were in there about 2.5 hours and saw kind of all the real highlights with a lot of information behind them as well. I can't imagine trying to navigate your way around without a tour. I think you'd end up in there all day, which if you're an art lover, not a big deal obviously, but if you're really just looking to see the highlights, guided tour is the way to go. And now, let's go see some of the other highlights here in Paris. We have wandered down the very famous Avenue des Champs-Élysées and have made it to the end where we have the arguably just as famous Arc de Triomphe. Now the Arc de Triomphe honours all those people who died in the French Revolutionary Wars and the Napoleonic Wars with all their names inscribed on the inside. But now for tourists it's a very popular photo spot and you can even climb to the top and get some great views across Paris.
And right underneath the Arc de Triomphe is the craziest roundabout I've ever seen in my life. There are about 10 cars tooting every minute. It's wild. It is not a place I would be trying to drive, but hats off to anyone who has. There are actually 12 radiating avenues that come and meet underneath or around the Arc de Triomphe, and that is why it is such a hectic roundabout. No thanks. And believe it or not, this is not our first Arc de Triomphe of the trip. We actually saw another Arc de Triomphe in Barcelona, which we didn't know existed until we got there. But if you haven't seen that video, check it out up there. It's a short one because Stacey's really sick, but it's a good one.
We are walking down Avenue des Champs-Élysées, which is the most beautiful street here in Paris, lined with these really pretty trees, heaps of different shops and some food places. And you can even walk to one end, which has the Arc de Triomphe, and if you keep walking all the way to the other end, you'll hit the Louvre, which is pretty cool. It's about 2 kilometers long, every different type of store you can imagine, and a very popular tourist spot.
We have come to Laurie, which seems to be like a boutique dessert type place. It's got ice creams, it's got macaroons, it's got ice cream sandwiches, pastries, you name it. We've had to line up behind some really fancy looking red robes. The inside is like a floral decor. Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. Good morning everybody from our last full day here in Paris. Stacey and I are both looking a little worse for wear today after 2 full days in Disneyland Paris. We're absolutely exhausted, it's caught up to us. If you would like to see those videos though, make sure you subscribe because they are going to be the next video that comes out. We've just had a lovely French breakfast and we're now on our way to go see the Paris catacombs. It's about a 20-minute train ride away. We'll film a little bit inside, but very likely we'll not film any of the bones, just, you know, out of respect. Okay guys, we're in the catacombs. So we're about 20 meters underground, 132 steps to get down, metro, sewer lines, water pipes, everything above us, which is really crazy. And it's 14 degrees down here all year round. So don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure you bring a jacket because it is a bit chilly. We have come to a place called Paul. There are many of them. I think it's a bit of a franchise because I've been told that they have some of the best baked goods in all of Paris. So I've gone with a ginormous macaroon and Stacey's gone with some little beignets and we've each got a hot chocolate. We're going to test the theory, does Paul have the best baked goods? Well guys, what's better than a French macaroon? A massive French macaroon. That was delicious, and the hot chocolates, the exact same, absolutely delicious. Highly recommend a visit to Paul.